moving it on me. Okay, there we go. Okay, so today we're going to talk about regex. And you've already been through the basic session, so I'm not going to like explain every single tiny line. I'm more going to explain my reasoning and show you the process that I go through when I do this. It doesn't mean that if you have questions, I'm not going to answer them right, but I'm not going to explain every little bit of syntax because these are basics that I explain in my regex sessions. So anyway, and here I'm using regex buddy. I'm not using SMS because it's too, what's the word? When I come in here and say Control Shift H, there we go. I've only got this much window to work with, right? So it can be done, but even if I extend it like all the way over here, it's still just everything in one line, and it's really hard to do, right? So I do something like this so I have a lot of room, and I've got my test data here, and I've got room to do all of this. And look at that, that's just wrong. So I've got more room to work in areas like this. Now, regex buddy costs, but there are free tools out there. There's one called regex hero that's free, and there are free online regex editors as well. I think I might even have one open. I guess not. I thought I did. Anyway, so okay. So what we're doing is we're working with the SIS parameters, with the environment parameters, right? So when you create those parameters and you script them, you get something like this back out, right? Which is just, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just all hard-coded stuff, and it's really a lot harder to extend and to see things, right? To see where you need to be. So our goal here is to make this a lot more scriptable and a lot easier to work with, or make it a lot more scripted and a lot easier to work with, and to give it a little bit more structure as well. So to that end, I've got this lovely regex up here, and it looks bad, right? But it's really not. So I'm going to show you how I did this. So I just highlight one of these guys, and I'm just going to put it right below it. There we go. So I've got that line. I'm going to give it a little more space to separate it a little bit. And now all I look for is stuff that I want to replace. So it's ridiculous to try to write this whole thing from scratch. So what I did here was, what do I have to do? I have to capture things, right? So first and foremost, I need to I need to capture the parameter name and the parameter value, right? So here I'm going to say, oops, I'm going to put this in a paren, and I'm going to put that in a paren, because we know that parens are capture groups. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to keep doing that for every single one of these. And I'm going to put the parameter value including the single ticks. You don't have to, but I think it'll solve a problem on down the line in case you have some that are like, you get some integers coming through, then you don't have to worry about which ones have quotes and which ones don't. I'm just going to take that entire value. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'll put that there, and I'm still doing all this. There we go. Let me know if I make a mistake. And put that guy in there. And we're almost done. Shut up, you idiots. And there we go. So far I haven't done anything hard at all, right? I've put parentheses around the things that I think I need to capture. So we know that I need to capture the parameter and the parameter name, and we know I need to capture the value. Easy enough. So now the problem is I don't know what the parameter name is going to be. So I could make this less generic, right? I could make it for this particular call only if I wanted to. And since the value is not always going to be 20 or date year or monthly marketing or marketing report, right? Since these values aren't going to be hard coded, then I need to do what RegEx does best. And that's recognize word patterns. So for here, I'm just going to say, now there's a number of things I could do here. I could look for I could look for like word boundaries. I could look for the word character class. I could hard code like looking for numbers or letters. But then I'd have to throw in punctuation as well, because you see down here, when we get down here, you've got some periods in here and you've got some dashes in here, right?
Yeah.
But so since I'm looking for specifically, I got a mosquito buzzing around me. Since I'm specifically looking for the data inside here, that's just right inside of, right on the other side of this equals, and between the equals and this comma, I can assume that anything between those is the value that I'm looking for. It's a good assumption. So since I don't really know what I'm going to get, I'm just going to put a dot plus, right? And a dot, remember, means match any single character. So anything at all that comes between the parentheses
Patterns.
and this, and are the equals and the comma, right? And then the plus means match one or more. So I'm going to do that for every single one of these guys because for every one of the values, because I don't know what the value is going to be.
Yeah.
Go. And you see it's already getting shorter. And right there we go. So if I want to make it just for this one SP call, then this is really good, right? Now, maybe the parameters won't always be in this same order, right? Maybe you'll get a script like this from somebody else who rearranged the parameters alphabetically or something, right? So we don't really want to put the parameter names in here either, but I want to be able to denote that it's a parameter. So I'm going to use WACW, which is shorthand class for, the for word characters, right? So it'll be alphabet and underscores and dollar signs sometimes and stuff like that, right? Depending on the flavor of regex that you're looking at. But I also want to say that it's all of this stuff that comes directly after an @ sign. So I'm just going to grab this W plus right here, and that plus again means at least one. And I'm going to do that. So I'm going to say set object parameter value followed by
that word,
followed by the @ comment and then a word, right? So I'm going to do, actually, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
So already this line up here that I ended up with looks a lot less scary now that you see that it's just the same thing again and again and again, right? We're just replacing the things that we wanted. But this is how you do this. You step into it. You don't just sit down and just start writing a whole complicated thing. You look at it and you say, okay, what do I need to be dynamic, right? And you just say, okay, I need the parameter name and the values to be dynamic, and you just take care of them one at a time. It's that simple. Now, as it stands, this isn't going to work. In fact, it'll work most unegregiously. And the reason why is because we have characters in there that are basically system reserved characters, right? They already mean something, right? The equivalent of reserved words. And those are going to be like your square brackets and your periods. Because we already know we're using a period in here. So we already know that a period means something very specific, right? And a bracket is like a set of things. So you would say something like, if I wanted to capture all numbers, then I would say something like 0 through 9 inside brackets,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are reserved words. So we have to escape those.
Right.
So we're going to escape those with a backslash. So before every one of those that we want to be taken literally,
One after SSISDB.
yeah, just one. And if I want to capture a backslash, then I double up on them, right?
Right.
Come here. There we go. So now we've escaped our stuff. And again, it's a lot less scary than it used to be, right? When you look at something like this, you're like, holy hell, what am I getting myself into, right? But when you step into it like this, it's not so bad. Now, the only other
Yeah.
thing I did here was I made the SP name dynamic as well.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take that guy because I want it to be able to work for more than one SP. Maybe there are other catalog SPs that I have. Now, the only thing that'll make this, how am I trying to say? The only thing that'll blow this up really for multiple SPs is the fact that, we'll need the same number of parameters. But you can see how if you've got an extra parameter, how you just copy one of these guys and tack it onto the end, right? I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
so it's not that big of a deal. Now, you can make this look the way you want. This is not the way I want. This is something else. So you can take this chance to clean up your code. And I've got that stuff. I thought I had it right here. Maybe I've got it over here instead. There we go. Nope, I don't. But this is a perfect time because I put this in ML. So this is the perfect time to show you how cool Minion Library can be, because I built this initially for regex expressions, and then it just kind of expanded, right? So
Okay.
if I come here to regex, I've got SIS, and I've got format environment variable script. Bring that here, and I've got the search expression, and I've got the replacement text, and that replacement text is really small, right? I need to make that bigger. But over here I've got description, so I tell you what we're doing, what we're going from, what we're going to, and I've got notes. And so in this notes, here's the replacement text I want. I put it in there for readability, right? So you can see it better. So I'm going to grab this right here, but I've also got test data. And this is where
Oh,
you put that data in there that you know will work with your search and your replace, so that you can see it work, and so that you can see if there's something wrong, if there's a difference between this and what you're trying and the data you're trying to work it against, right? So if you just want to see it work, then you can copy all this test data out, paste it in somewhere, and then run the search and replace against it, right? So that's one of the things that makes this so cool is you get the description, the notes, the test data, and you can put as much stuff in here, including links and everything else in there, right? And I can tell you, tell you things about the script and list limitations and different ways to work with it. So it's fully documentable for a single process like this, right? For a single script. So I grabbed that, and now I'll come back here, wherever the hell that was. It was on this other box. It was on this other box. There we go. I'll come back into RegEx Buddy. I should be in.
you might need to click on the taskbar in the side. It will show up. No, not there.
There we go. It's supposed to be down here. It's supposed to be pinned. So here, how did I not capture the thing? All right, give me a sec. So I'm going to do this. Oh. Yeah. Grab that. Copy. Don't cut. Copy. And then I'll come back here. Yeah. And we'll see. There we go. I got the one I want now. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to put set values in front of each one, and then we're trying to put some of these guys around here, right? Our header and footer. And then we're going to basically change the call to call the parameters or the variables that we've created instead of the hard-coded values, right? So hold on a sec.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, this isn't as bad as it looks. In fact, it's very logical. So when I come here and I see $2, $3, all I'm doing here is I'm counting the groups. So these groups are numbered. And here, let's go ahead and get rid of this one because we don't need it anymore. So there we go. So my capture groups are numbered. Anytime you see a parentheses, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, right? So what do I want to do? I want to set 2 equal to 3. So I want to set number 2 equal to number 3. And then I want to set 4 equal to 5. So 4 equal to 5. 5 equal to 6. 6 equal to 7, right? So, and so on and so on. So I just count those up like that. So I just create my set statements with that. And then in here, since these parameters that I set up here are going to be the same as the parameters down here,
for that,
then that's easy. That's really easy. I want to set, so I'm calling this SP, which is number 1, right? And then I want to set 2 equal to 2, 4 equal to 4, 6 equal to 6, and so on, right? And then all I got to do is figure out which one is the parameter name. So parameter name is here. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the parameter name itself is number 5. So I want to begin 5 and end 5, right? And so then and let me bring this up a little bit. I'll choke it out a little, just a touch. There we go. And you notice how I take this opportunity to clean it up too, right? I put my spaces in
Yes.
my things. I put my semicolon there. So you could even put comments in there. You could do all kinds of things. So as long as you're just playing with these groups, right? So I come here and I'm going to say replace, search and replace all matches. And it doesn't match the thing because I did something weird. What did I did? There we go. It had an extra line break at the end. So these are all my matches, right? It's gonna highlight all your matches for you. And then
Mm.
here, search and replace, and then it does my replace. I'm trying to bring that up. There we go. And this is what I get. So set
It's
object
cool.
type equal 20, that equal that, and then object type equals object type, parameter name equals parameter name, and so on and so on. And there you go. I got fully documented
Cool.
here, and
It's
it's
so
really
nice.
easy to extend because now I can, right, just copy one of these sections, change these values, and the call doesn't
Yep.
change at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it takes out a lot of the mistakes that you make when you're editing stuff like this, and it's highly repeatable because now we've got it in minion library. And when you have a whole bunch of parameters that you need to uh, save, right, or that you need to script, that you have scripted, then it's a lot easier to read. It's a lot easier to extend. And now you can take this script, this cleaned script, and add it to your project, your SIS project, so that when you go between environments, then you can just, um, use the script and then change the things you need to change. And of course, this particular script right here doesn't create the variables. It only sets these values. But like I said in the minion library, let me bring that back up. Like I said in here, if you want to do that, so scripting the declare, all you have to do is use one of those lines of code, because all you need to get is the parameters, the parameter names, and then you can just use. I actually need to make a space there, but there we go. And then you can just use this. So begin set vars, end set vars, right? And then you just declare them all. So declare this name as a SQL variant, and we just use them all as SQL variant because it'd be pretty damn hard to go in there and suss out what the types should be, right? So we'll just make it SQL variant and it'll be good. So you just highlight one of those SP calls and then run this as a replacement instead. And so you can create your variables at the top that way. I can create the variables elsewise. Let me get back there. There we are. So I can create the variables here, but it would create them for every single row, right? So I could put that code above here,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it would create it for every single row.
Yeah.
So unless I'm going to put goes after them, which I could do, but that's just sloppy, right? So anyway, there you go. That's how I did that. And it's regex is a lot simpler when you break it down to something like that. And this is one of those cases where the ROI is really high. This is a really, really useful script to have because, if you deploy a lot of packages, having these variables, having these statements line up and having these variables in order is a nice boon for your script. And you're only going to do it if it's easy to do. And it doesn't get much easier than this. Now that we've already got the script and we've got the replacement, and we can change the replacement any way we want to. And so there you go. That's what I have. Any
This is so
questions?
nice and easy. No, I followed it.
Excellent. So I got to go talk to the Oracle guys now. So I will holler at you Monday. But this is being filmed, so I'll post that today if I can.
Okay, sure. I will watch it again if I need.
Excellent.